Hey everybody and welcome. Hope you're having a great spooky October and everything. And because our class today is Halloween themed, I'm wearing my Jack Skeleton shirt. So hopefully you're enjoying me and being in the Halloween I guess season. Well, let me introduce myself. If you haven't been in one of my classes before, my name is Alex Cooper. I teach the computer classes at the Columbia County Library in Evans, Georgia, the Harlem Library, and also the Uchi Creek, now Grovetown Library with our new building in Grovetown. Yay! So very glad you joined me today. So we have our coding classes and we have Python classes coming up, which I'll talk about in a second. But we also have our Scratch classes and stuff that we do. And because it's October, we decided to do some themed classes. So we'll be doing some things with Mr. Frankenstein. We'll be dancing around and stuff a little bit here with our Scratch Basics. Now this is still Scratch Basics, so we'll be covering some basic stuff. And we'll also be covering Introduction to Scratch and also some addition there as well. And also maybe I'll throw in a few extra things that we might do with our little characters and stuff. So we're going to make a spooky card and a dance party too. So as everybody kind of comes in the classroom, hey Mac, welcome. Of course, if you're watching this pre-recorded, glad that you're watching it, of course, but the big thing, of course, is to come and when we do our classes live because you can ask questions and all kinds of stuff. So, as we first start out, the big thing, of course, is if you have any questions, go ahead and post them into the chat. Happy to answer your questions that you have in any way. Have you used Scratch before? I don't know. It's Halloween themed one, so it's kind of a little bit different. You Scratch for made any projects or anything, and at the end of the month, we'll be putting together a Scratch game. So the big question I always ask is, how could I help? What questions do you have? Make this class yours, because if you could join me live, then you can ask questions, of course, and I can kind of change our curriculum, to add to that. So let's talk about some of the classes that we have taught this month. As you see that they're all listed on here. And also we did, like yesterday, we did internet shopping and digital couponing. All these classes are still up and available. Google Cardboard VR class. We also did a Libby class. And I'll talk about that briefly in just a second. And next week, tomorrow, we'll talk about tomorrow. We're going to be doing this class again at 11 o'clock. And we'll, of course, be changing a few little things here or there. But still kind of the basics idea, making a Scratch interactive card and kind of a dance party. So come join me for that at 2:30. Of course, I'll be 11 a.m. tomorrow here on our YouTube channel. And then tomorrow afternoon, we'll actually be doing a Python coding Scratch, Python coding scary spot the difference prank is what we're going to be doing. We're going to be coding it in Python and also be adding graphics to it, and it's a prank game, so it looks like someone's going to play a match different spot the difference game, and then a ghoul jumps out and goes "Arr!" at you with sound. So that's what we'll be doing tomorrow in Python. Next week we'll be doing a Unity. It's our first time doing a class with Unity, so come join me for that. And then on the 28th we'll be doing our Python coding spot the difference prank coding again. And then the 28th afternoon we'll be doing a Raspberry Pi project, how to make a sound trap. So it's kind of like our whoopee cushion class, but the difference we're going to do is we're going to do different sounds and make it like a trap that you could put on your front porch. Someone steps on it and then you can make it do random sounds. So we'll be coding all that. And then on the 29th we'll be doing a gadget help on Zoom. I'll be there again on Zoom. You can contact the Grovetown Library and sign up for that. Sessions are from 30 minutes to an hour, and I'll be there 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock on Zoom, and you can schedule your session just by calling in to the Grovetown Library. And then on the 29th, we'll be doing a different Scratch Basics class. We'll be doing Let's Make a Spooky Game. It'll be ghosts in the woods and click on them and stuff like that. Just a little side note here, our library has switched over to Libby. So if you are looking for ebooks and audiobooks on RB Digital, we've actually switched over to a new app called Libby. All you need to do is go to the App Store on your device, look for Libby, download Libby. It'll say which library you're with. Don't say Grovetown, don't say Harlem, don't say Columbia County. Say Greater Clarksville Regional Library System, and then it'll say choose one and choose where it says Georgia download destination, and then enter your library card number and you'll be right in, and you could listen to some spooky books or read some spooky books this month. Whoop. A little side note, our libraries are open with limited services and hours. Curbside holds pickup is available. You can go to gchrl.org for details or call into the library with questions Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Don't forget to like us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're currently having a subscribe drive. If we can reach 100 subscribers, then we get our own customized YouTube page. Or you can search YouTube for GCHRL videos and our channel will come right up. All right, so let's go right ahead. Do you have any questions before we get started? And I will go ahead and post the handout. Now, this is a handout, kind of a basic introduction to using Scratch. And where is it on here? There it is. So I'm posting this in the chat. You can view it and download it. And I also will open up the file as well. Now I won't go into it too much, but I was thinking that next month we might do a turkey themed project, and maybe like a dance party there where we make and draw our own characters. So next month we might be doing a turkey themed. So just look out for that, and that one will change up our what we're working on a little bit. Make it turkey. All right, so I'm trying to do gobble gobble, but I'm not doing a good job. Gobble gobble gobble, turkey turkey turkey. All right, so we have our introduction here. So we're going to talk about an introduction to Scratch in case anyone hasn't used Scratch before. Okay. So Scratch is an easy programming. It gets you into programming. It kind of is all ages. And then, of course, we have other classes too that in the future we actually have a Scratch to Python class, specifically because there's a website that does do blocks like Scratch, but with Python coding. Turkey Day! Hello, Dr. Emmy! Yay, that does sound like fun. All right, so what we're going to cover, and then we'll talk about our different projects. And like I said, this is kind of a general introduction to Scratch, but we're going to be doing our Halloween themed one. Whoa, with our little bats and stuff. So Scratch does come with some Halloween type characters like a bat, our Frankenstein, and some other stuff too. Little ghosts we'll play around with too. So first we're going to cover what is Scratch. We'll talk about signing up and logging into Scratch. We'll start Scratch. We'll talk about saving a project. We'll talk about the program overview. And then we'll start doing some of our basic tutorials. We'll make our bat look like it's going to kick the ball instead of our cat because it's Halloween themed. And then we'll do kind of our dance party and then do like a little bit of a birthday card, but we might make it into a Halloween card instead. Okay. And then I'll point out to explore, to look for other projects, and I'm sure you can find lots of Halloween stuff that different people have made on the games and animations, all kinds of stuff. And then I'll kind of point you in the direction of some other resources. So before we get started, does anybody have any questions? Any questions? There you go. Maybe Dr. Emmy says maybe I could create a turkey dance around a bowl of cranberry sauce. That sounds like a fun time. Absolutely. Because that one, I think what we'll do is because we'll actually do something kind of the classic drawing your hand, because there is a drawing part of Scratch. Maybe we'll try to draw a turkey and then make it gobble and stuff like that. Gobble, gobble. All right, so let's talk about what we can do in Scratch, and I'll actually disappear here. So what is Scratch and what can you do with it? Okay. Scratch is a programming language and community where you can create your own interactive stories and games and animations and share your creations with others around the world. Okay. In the process of designing and programming Scratch project, you learn to think creatively, reason systematically, and work collaboratively because you can share your projects very easily. How much does Scratch cost? Do I need a license? Scratch is and always will be free. It's hosted by the MIT website. The big question is, people say, can I sell my projects on Scratch? Absolutely, yes you can, because of the way the license work, you certainly could actually sell your projects if you wanted to. To learn more about Scratch and check out about Scratch, the scratch.mit.edu page, but I'm going to show a quick little video real quick, and you'll kind of get the gist of what kind of things you could do with Scratch very quickly. Okay, hang on. All right, so. All right, so let's go ahead and let's talk about where we need to go. We need to go to our Scratch website. And I'll also tell you that everything we do today, you don't need to sign up to do Scratch, because you don't have to log in or anything. You can just go to the website that I'm telling you, completely do everything that we are doing in our projects and stuff. The only thing is you can't save your project, so I still would recommend setting up an account. It's completely free, and they don't send you annoying spam emails or anything like that. So let's go to scratch.mit.edu. Okay. All right, so this is Scratch, so scratch.mit.edu. And it also will show different projects, which we'll look more into this in the end. Different products, even little studios that they have on there. Animations, kind of a bit of a sample of what I showed in the video. Okay. Games, all kinds of stuff. Anything that gets popular, it starts to kind of appear on here. Let's go ahead and let's go up here, and if you wanted to log in, looks like I'm already logged in automatically. Like I said, the big thing about that is when you create a project, you can save it. You do need an email address, and then typing in, let's pull that back up again. Oh, I know what to do. You do need a email address to be able to sign up for a free account, but everything we do today, you don't have to. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's click create. So create. And then it should look like this. Now I am logged in, so it's showing that, and I can actually give something a name. And if you are logged in, like I said, you can save. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and give my project a name, and we're going to do the bat kicking the ball. So we'll call it bat. How about bat ball? That's kind of funny. So the way I save this, I go up to File, and then I say Save Now. Okay, and then it'll automatically save it to the cloud. Okay. Now let's go back to our handout. Whoop, hang on. Made that disappear, didn't I? Let's talk about our program overview a little bit. So number one is our stage. Okay. This is where we see our sprites, like the cat and everything. This is also where we see our graphics. So when we start our project, this is where our game or our interactive card will actually be. Okay. All our characters. There's also a backdrop. So number two is the backdrop section. You may hear me say background. Okay. If you've done any kind of animation or graphics or anything like Photoshop or anything like that, they usually call it the background. The sprites. Okay. Number three are our sprites. Right here, it's actually showing our cat here and our sprites. In a little bit, we're actually going to delete our cat because we're actually doing a Halloween themed one. So we'll delete our cat and we'll add a new sprite. And our work area is where we actually put our code in. Okay. And that's this area right here, the big area. You can zoom in, you can zoom out. And each sprite, including the backdrop, actually, when you click on them, that actually will take you to a different work area. Okay, so just know that. One of the big things is we want to add something to the cat or do something with the cat. We click the cat sprite, we do our code, and that only affects the cat, and then so forth with the other sprites too. Now our blocks are on the left side. Here's our blocks, and it's a drag and drop. The really neat part about this is Scratch has basically made coding into a block language. So basically, if the blocks don't fit together, then you can actually, if they don't fit together, that means the code won't fit together too. So the real learning curve is really just to kind of figure out how the blocks go together, how do we kind of connect them, and then kind of getting used to the program in general. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and let's scroll down. Let's talk about using our blocks. Now, one thing that's really good is that it is broken up into different categories with our blocks, but you can scroll down and it'll just keep going and going and going. And I'll show that real quick. So here's our blocks over here. If you're trying to find a certain block, they are color coordinated. Okay. But if you're not sure which category to look, the good thing is you can scroll up and can scroll all the way down to the bottom, and it will show all the blocks. Okay. So if for some reason you can't find a block, you're not sure which category it's in, you can just keep scrolling up and scrolling down to find the block you're looking for. Okay, so there's certain categories. There's motion, there's looks, there's sound, there's also pin, data, events, control, sensing, and operators. Okay. Now we'll talk about more about some of those when we do our game near the end of the month. Right now we're actually going to be doing the cat kickball project, but we're going to be using a bat and the ball instead, and we'll put him in a different situation than on our soccer field. Okay. So let's go ahead and let's talk about adding a background, and let's choose a different background than what we have listed there. So how do we add a backdrop? So let's go ahead down to this area on the bottom right. Now the really good part about Scratch is you can upload your own pictures. You can actually use the camera that's on your computer to take a picture, and I'll show you later with the music, you can upload your own music, and it does support MP3 files. Okay. So you're like, do I have to use all their built-in stuff? No, you don't actually. You can upload any picture you want. So I'm going to click here, and you can draw your own picture as well. So let's click there. And let's go for a spooky one. And if we go down, there's one that looks like he's in the woods. See if I can, oh, there it is right here. The one called wood. So let's choose that. And let's go ahead and let's get rid of our cat. And the way we get rid of the cat is we actually click the little trash can right there. And now let's go down here. We're going to add a new sprite. And again, you can upload your own pictures, as you can see right there. And it will support most types of pictures, JPEG, PNG, GIF files as well. So let's go ahead and just click again, and it will show us all the characters that are built in that come with Scratch, okay? So let's go ahead and well, the big question is, I get asked, which one of these has basically like an animation with it? Well, the big way to know that is you actually just hover over the character, okay? And if you see an animation, that means that there's an animation there. We can change our costumes later and make the character look like they're walking or dancing or doing something different, okay? So let's go ahead and let's click on our bat. And then there's our bat, okay? Now I'm going to move my bat. I think I might move him right about here. And let's choose a different kind of ball, okay? So let's click the sprite again, click the sprite. And in our original, we actually have a soccer ball. So you could basically choose anything you wanted. Let's see. I think the soccer ball would still work well because we're just learning about doing our movement and animation right now. So scroll down. Let's see. Does the mouse walk? The mouse kind of walks. Some of these things are interesting because I'm not sure exactly what you would use them with, but it keeps it interesting. There's our soccer ball right there. So let's go ahead and let's click our soccer ball. And then there's our soccer ball. So let's put our soccer ball kind of in the middle here. Okay. We have our bat. We have our soccer ball. So again, we're just doing kind of our basic animation here. We'll learn a little more from this. So our big thing here is, and like I said, moving the character to kind of where I have it. Our big thing is we want to learn about our coding. So we want to add our block that says when flag is clicked on our bat. So let's click the bat. And let's go to our events. And let's drag the one over here that says when flag is clicked. And I'm actually going to zoom in a little bit here. Okay. So when flag is clicked. Now what we're going to do is we're actually going to have it so that it's going to look like the bat has flown over and basically hit the ball. And then the ball is going to shoot all the way to the right, okay? So we're just kind of learning our basic animation. And a little bit later, I think we might actually we did something a little different with Mr. Frankenstein. The funny thing about, I've heard so many different things about the Frankenstein character, and I won't go into that too much, but basically, if he was created by Dr. Frankenstein, his family name would be Frankenstein, because it would be like his son. So maybe even calling the monster Frankenstein is okay. That's just his family name. But as you'll see, everybody calls things that, and they want to be real specific that it's Frankenstein's monster. Yes, it is, but technically if he was his father, then Frankenstein's monster, his family name would be Frankenstein. I don't know. It's just what they've done in our pop culture now, as they call him that. And later on, we'll have him kind of get scared by the bat and then maybe run around. I think that would be kind of funny. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to actually have it so when we click the flag, we want the cat, okay, to say something, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to have him, since we are doing Halloween themed. So let's go to where, let's see, this is when I have to remember myself where the thing is. Where is it on here? It's under looks, and it's say something for 2 seconds. We're going to say, let's see, because he is kicking a ball. No, I know what we'll do. How about we have him say, have him say boo. How about that? So he'll say boo, and then maybe we'll have him run over to the soccer ball, and then the soccer ball will jump out of the way. So there's 2 ways we can actually see our code. If we go up here and we click the flag, he'll say boo for 2 seconds. Okay. If you choose the say hello one, he'll actually just say hello from now on. So making sure that you choose the one that says for 2 seconds works well. So boo. And then we're actually what we're gonna do is we're gonna move our bat here to run towards the soccer ball, and then the soccer ball is going to be kicked out of the way. So there we go. So we have our 2 seconds. Now we have to add our movement, okay? So we have to figure out how many steps it takes to make it look like the bat has basically run over to the ball, okay? So we actually want to add motion. So we're going to have him move. Now I know for a fact that 10 seconds is not enough. And I believe we're actually going to be dealing with 125 steps or so. So let's go ahead and let's add that on there now. Okay. Oh, I have a neat idea that we could do something different. I think I got a neat idea. Of course, we'd have to change the soccer ball, but maybe we'll do that. We'll do this, and then we'll change stuff around a little bit, and then we'll get the bat to scare Frankenstein a little bit later, and then Frankenstein will run away. How about that? Okay, so we have our Halloween theme section here. So let's see how far our bat goes when we hit our green flag. We made it 125 steps. Hits boo. And then he moves 125. That looks right about right. Now, I will tell you this. Any kind of motion that you have, one of the things you need to do is to make it reset. So either you have to do this by hand after it starts or it finishes, okay? Or later, what you do is you give it a break in here and then tell it to move back 125 steps or so, okay? So we're going to talk about that in just a second. So the animation will not reset by itself. We actually have to tell it to do that. So let's go ahead and do that now. So I'm going to put in a wait. And let's make it wait. We'll say 5 seconds. And then let's add a motion. Now, positive moves to the right. And negative will move to the left, okay? So minus 125. So when we actually do our code here, we can have the bat run over to the ball. It's going to wait 5 seconds, and then after that, in the past I've actually made it 10 seconds. Wait 5 seconds, and then come back to where it started. So if I do this, do the flag, it'll say, the bat will say boo. And then it'll reset. We could actually change it so the bat runs over to the ball, says boo, and then the ball runs away. That could be an interesting thing. You'd have to change it around a little bit here. I think we can do that. What if we change the boo? We have the movement. And then, so we've changed it around a little bit. So the bat will move to the ball. It'll say boo, and then the ball will zoom away instead. So boo, and then there you go right there. And then it should reset. There you go. Okay, so let's go ahead to our next part. Now we must actually have it so the soccer ball makes a noise, okay, as it's getting away, and make it go away as well, okay. So this time we're actually going to click on the ball. So let's click our ball, and then let's say when the flag is clicked. Now I'm going to do the zoom in here. One thing that's neat is we have to remember that we actually have the bat has 2 seconds to say something. So the ball actually has to be set up to wait. Where's my wait? There's my wait. 2 seconds. Okay. And then we want our ball to do what? We actually want it to play its sound. Okay. Now let's talk about sounds. Okay. So let's go up here to right where it says sounds. And this is actually, this sprite actually comes with the sound. Not all of them do. If you hit play, we can hear the sound. You can also play around with the sound. You can get it to go faster or slower. And you can do the undo button up here at any time. Slower. Or you do louder, softer, mute it. Which I'm not sure why you're doing that. Is that, oh, I can mute a part of it. Okay. You can have fade in, fade out, or you can reverse it as well. Or robot noise. Didn't really sound very good there. Okay, so that's your sounds. Now, if I go down here and I want to add a sound to this sprite, I can actually choose a whole bunch of different sounds, and I also can upload my own sound. If I click upload, it will show that it does support WAV files and MP3 files, okay? So right out of the gate, there's a whole bunch of stuff that you can do with Scratch, and your own sound effects and your own graphics and stuff, okay? We'll use the ball right now until we start doing our part with Mr. Frankie and our animation, okay? So it's right now called Basketball Bounce. Let's go back to our code. And we actually want it to play the sound. So play sound. Our thing, trying to see, what does it say? Yeah, just play sound until done. That's fine. This is a quick sound. And then we actually want it to move 250 steps to the right. So motion, move 250. Excuse me. 250 steps, which will make it go to the right. And we also need to add and I've changed that from 10 seconds to 5 seconds, just so it won't take as long to reset. Then we need it to move minus 250, just so that it resets right in the same place it started, okay? So we're going to do wait 5 seconds, and then we're going to have it come back to minus 250. Oh. All right, so let's go ahead and hit the flag. Boo. Ah! Okay. Boo. And then they reset. And then they reset. Okay, so there's our little animation, and we've learned about making something move, making a motion happen. It doesn't really look like it. It looks like it's run over, kicked the ball, and then the ball's moved, but it's actually two things that we have timed at the right time for our animation. Okay. Now, let's actually change our card a little bit. I think we will add Frankenstein and do something similar, but we'll have Frankenstein run away and make him scream a little. I think that would be funny. So let's go ahead and we're actually going to add Mr. Frankenstein. So click a sprite, and I think he's under, let's see, I think he's under Frankenstein. Let's see. There he is, Frank. And if we hover, we see that he has a little bit of an animation, doesn't he? All right, so let's go ahead and let's delete our our soccer ball. Okay. And let's move Mr. Frankie here. Okay. So we actually have our bat. And why don't we move our bat up here? Move him up a little bit like that. Okay. We'll talk about animation in our dance party thing. So we're just doing our interaction still. So this time, let's go ahead. Let's click Frankie. Let's add our controls when it's clicked. So we're basically going to have, let's make sure our animation lines up okay. So let's go ahead and hit green. There we go. Boo! And then it resets after 5 seconds. And then let's click Mr. Frank. And we're going to have him do a scream. Now, I do think if we click sounds, Frank actually comes with, I don't know why, but he actually comes with a wolf howl for some reason. Okay? But we're actually going to add a different sound. And let's go to our sounds. Click sound. We're going to add a sound to Frankenstein. Now, if we hover over any of these, kind of give you an idea. A lot of music ones. Let's go to voice. And there's one of screaming, I think.
Hey.
Two.
Yeah.
All right, so let's choose the one that says Scream 1. All right, so now that's locked on. It's called Scream 1. Let's go back to code. And our bat flies over, and then it's 2 seconds. So let's allow 2 seconds here. Let's do our wait. 2 seconds. And then let's do our sound. And as you see, we actually have more than one. So there actually is a little drop down here. We do want to choose Scream 1. So let's drag that over here. So let's go ahead and try that out now. So the bat's going to fly down, say boo, and then Mr. Frankenstein's going to go, ow!
Ow!
Oh, I messed up. I gave it the, let's see. So that means I have to move him back. All right, so I interrupted our animation.
Ow!
Okay, so let's go back to Frank. And now let's give him some motion. And I could make him... I won't go into that right now, but we'll just make him move. And I think we said 250 before. Let's see if that'll work. And we should add the turnaround. So let's make it wait for 5 seconds. And then we can actually have it. Our motion, there you go. Move minus 250 back. Okay. So here we go.
Ow!
That's pretty good. There you go. So that's the, I guess that needs to be called Bat and Frank. How about that? Or Frankie. Bat and Frankie. I'll do file, save. So that's kind of how we can do like little animations. In our next one, we'll do with our dance party, and we'll do with our different costumes. Okay. And we'll choose kind of a fun little dance thing. So again, if you wanted to do this project, here's your code right here. There's the code for our bat. And there's the code for Frank. Okay. Ow! And then he ran away. Let's see it full screen before we move on.
Ow!
Okay, so let's go ahead to our next part. I'm going to go up here and I'm going to click File and New. And this next one we're going to do is like our dance party. We're going to choose our bat. We're going to deal with our animation. And we're also going to have Frankie dance a little bit. And then our other character do some kind of fun stuff as well. Okay. So what we're going to do is I think we'll go ahead and choose the same background, the spotlight, because it's going to be a Halloween dance party. And we're actually, instead of Cassie here, we're actually going to choose our bat. And then we're actually, instead of the cat, we're going to add Frank. And then we're actually going to put the ghost there on the far right. Okay. So we're going to use bat, Frankenstein, and then the ghost. Okay. So let's go ahead and add those now. So we're actually going to delete our cat, Mr. Scratch, off of there. Let's add our background. And I think we'll do the dance party because I know that'll go really well with our background spotlight. Now let's go ahead and add the bat. There's our bat. And then let's add Frank. There's Frank. And then let's add the ghost. Ooh, the ghost. Here's our ghost. And we'll be using our ghost for our other our game project as well. Let's put our bat here and Frankenstein maybe up on the dance podium here. You can actually do a lot with this little setup. You could make them come down the little runway, and one of the things in the game one, we actually have it so the ghost change size. And actually, if you made these characters smaller, which maybe we'll do that in a little bit, I think that would be kind of interesting. If we made the characters smaller, and if they did decide to like walk down the little walkway here as they dance, they could then make them, you know, normal size when they get about here. So that could be interesting. But let's go ahead and let's call this like Monster Dance Party or something. It's a monster dance party. Okay, so we have our characters. Now, if you do, and I'll say this now, if you do have an issue where the characters are too large or whatever you've imported is too large, you can actually go here and click the sprite and change the size of the character right here. Okay, so Frank's kind of big, to be honest. Let me see something real quick. We may have to change his size. Yeah, I think we do need to change his size a little bit because they're a little bit big. The other characters I usually use are a little bit smaller. So let's go ahead and let's make everybody a little bit smaller. So let's click the bat, and we'll actually click there and change him to, let's say 75 and see what that's like. There you go. Frank, we're going to change him to 75 just because they're just too big. There we go. And it makes a little more sense him standing on the podium now. And then our ghost, we'll change that one to 75 as well. Okay. So you kind of get that pretty quickly. There's our size, also the characters' names, and you can actually turn which way their direction is, but we won't do that right this minute. Okay, our main goal is basically we're going to have them dance to music, and we're actually going to have to find the music because it's a little bit separate than what we have on there. But let's go ahead to our handout and we'll just keep on going. So the first thing is let's talk about our animation. Okay, so if we just played music now and they don't do anything, then it makes it look like nothing has happened, right? Even if we have music playing. So let's go ahead and add the when flag clicked. We want to add a repeat, okay? And we're actually going to have our bat switch costumes. And I do think that, let's go ahead and talk about that. So let's click our bat, and we're going to do our event. We say when you click the green flag, okay? And we actually want to add a control to this one, which is a repeat. So add, it looks kind of like Pac-Man, okay? And we actually want to go to looks, and let's go ahead and let's look at our bat costumes. And if you were doing this like an animation program, they would call this frames, okay? This program actually calls them costumes, that's fine. But if you were doing an animation program, they would call these frames. So the first costume is bat A. Second one is bat B. There's bat C, which makes him look like he's singing to me. And then there's bat D, which he's just asleep. So we don't really want the last one, do we? Because it looks like he's asleep. To me, this is something that, and I actually did this in the previous class, I had it set up so he actually started off hanging from the ceiling, flew down, said let's dance, and then everybody started dancing. Okay, so let's look at our animation that's going back and forth. Okay, so our best one is this one, is him kind of going up and down, but I think we can get away with this one because he's just kind of like yeah, okay. So that's kind of our animation that we have going on. So you can, in this, and like I said, I think in November we'll do one with a turkey, which would be kind of fun. And you can actually draw, okay, with Scratch on here. You can also, change the color, give something a mustache or something if you wanted to, but we're just kind of focused on the basics right this second. So let's go back to our code. And what we want to do is go to looks and go to where it says switch costume. Now, we always want it to start out at the A, and we also want to give it a second in between. So we need to do events. So we're going to tell it to wait. So I'm going to do, if it's a whole number, meaning 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or so on, those are all seconds. If you do 0.5, then that's half a second. Let's do switch costume. And let's do a B. And then add another event. Weight 0.5. And then switch costume. We want to make it C. Okay. So we don't want it to go to D because that makes him look like he's kind of asleep or something. Okay. Now, because it's repeating, we actually do need to add one at the end, 0.5. Okay. So you can click the flag, or if you just want that one code to work, you just left click the code and it'll show it. So he's going to do his little animation 10 times. There you go, and then he'll stop. Now, you can actually set it up so when the flag is clicked, okay, he'll actually start on the main. Let's see. So if that was an issue where it was finishing, I could actually add another, just an extra, because this is odd. Okay, so I could actually add another switch to costume on here outside of the repeat, so that when the animation finishes, he'll always be on A. Okay, so let's try that. So he'll do those 3 animations 10 times, and then he'll always switch back to the A costume. Okay, so that won't be an issue. So sometimes when we're coding, not only do we need to think about how it ends, but we also need to think about when it restarts. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's look at Mr. Frankenstein here, which is the cat on our section. So we have Cassie in our group here, and then we'll talk about changing our third character, which is our ghost. Okay, so Miss Cassie, or Frankenstein, we're going to have it do a similar animation to Cassie, but we do want to make, but the interesting thing, I'm actually going to use one that will make it switch to the next costume, and then we also want it to play a sound. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's click Frankenstein, and let's look at our costumes. So this is kind of his normal. We have him looking to the right, hands up, hands down. Now, last time I actually added an extra dance move here, so I think we'll do that too, because it will actually look proper. So let's make him look like he's looking forward, looking to the right, and then we'll actually do a mirror. We'll do a copy mirror, and he'll look to the left, and then he'll do his arms down and stuff. Okay, now the way that we do that is we need to make a copy. I think I can't just do it that way, can I? No, that's not what I want. So right click where it says Frank B, right click, and just click where it says duplicate. Okay. All right. Now here on the Frank B2, let's click where it says flip horizontal. And now he's looking to the left. So now his dance moves are look forward, look to the left, look to the right, down, hands down, hands up. So it's hands down. So he's kind of doing this move. So it's up, then down. So he has some real dance moves now that we have him looking to the left and looking to the right. Okay. All right, so we've already messed around with our animation a little bit already. So let's go back to our code. And there's our bat. We want to go back to Frank. And now when we do our, there's our green flag. Let's do we need to add our repeat. All right. And we also want to add it to where it's going and switching costume. Now, we can actually, unless you want to be very specific, okay, we can do a trick where we only have to add, because we want all his costumes, we can actually use one that says next costume, okay? So if we put that on there, and then we actually add, because if we don't do it, it'll just go blah, 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 like that really fast. It'll be like this, watch. Blah, 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 blah. It'll be like that, and then it's over. So that's not what we want, is it? We actually want it to have a second or two in the middle. So let's drag this one in there, and let's give it 0.5, okay? Now, when we click, let's see what happens. So now he looks like he's dancing a little bit. Now, the problem is he only did it 10 times, which means that instead of the bat has a whole list of stuff to do, okay, 10 times. It's going to, this is one group, okay? So that means we need to up the number here, let's say to 30, and then try it. It's Frankenstein Dance Party. So now he'll switch costumes 30 times. Now, if we do have an issue where you're not having it reset to the original costume, so then that means here outside the repeat, we need to add switch to costume A, just so that they'll be back at the beginning when we start again. So when we click the flag, there's our bat, there's Frankenstein. Now, I will tell you this, and this happens with the other dance party too. You actually have to figure out about the time frame here. Oh, that was perfect. I want to do that again because I figured that the bat changed costumes 3 times. So him having more costumes 30 times. Okay, so this is a little bit more exact here. But anyway, I won't get into that. But then it switches back to A. So that actually was pretty perfect. Okay. Now one of the things we want to do is we want to talk about adding our music. Okay. Now with our other example there, Cassie actually came with music. And if we click Frank, sound, we have the wolf. Okay. We could do that. Maybe we can use that with in some way, but let's go ahead and let's talk about our dance party music. So let's go down to our sounds. And let's see if we can find, I think loops is what we really need. Let's see which one of these would actually go well with our Halloween dance party. See if I can turn that down so I can barely hear it, and then y'all can still hear it. That's the one that we actually use for our regular dance party. I'll kind of let y'all decide which one y'all want to be the dance music. Let's see. That seems kind of mysterious. So mystery. Now you may think, well, that's a little slow. Well, we could actually speed it up if we wanted to. See what that's like. Now, did you notice that it's like we have an intro here, and then it kind of has an outro at the end? So if I actually selected some sound here, I could actually copy paste that. Well, I do have to get the thing further down here at the end. Hold on. Okay, now let's listen to the whole thing. I think that sounds a little bit more like a dance party. Okay, so we messed with the sound a little bit here. Maybe we can even make it howl a little bit. I think that would be kind of fun. So we could actually have this loop if we wanted to. So let's go ahead and let's try that. Let's go back to Frankenstein's Code. Now, I do think that before we actually had it so the bat would say, let's dance or something, and then everybody would dance. And that means that everybody has to start at the 2-second mark. Okay. So I think let's go ahead and do that. Let's get it. Let's drag one in here. Let's click the bat. And we're actually going to have him say, how about Happy Halloween? That'd be different. Happy Halloween. Okay, and then he'll start flying around. Let's click Frank. And we actually have to add to everybody, just wait 2 seconds so that their bat will have the time to say something. And we actually want to have a event where it says when it's clicked. We want to add 2 seconds. And then we want it to play a sound. So our dance party music, okay? So we will say play sound. Yeah, play sound until done. Or let's see, we want it to repeat it twice, don't we? I think twice would be fine. So let's do control. Let's add a repeat in here, and let's have it do 2 seconds. All right, now let's do our sound. I think what we'll do is we'll have it start the sound and it will play it. Well, hang on. Let me make sure. I think it will play the whole song if I do that. Let's see. Okay, so we don't want that one. I'm sorry. Let me see. Okay, well, let's change it to the howl. And then we'll add one that says play sound until done. Okay. So let's try that. There we go. Sounds a little bit like a dance party to me. Okay, so now let's go ahead and let's try it out. Happy Halloween. Okay, we might want to make it repeat here one more time. So let's add a 3 on here and then let's try it. Okay, y'all like that? I think that's pretty fun. Okay, now let's go ahead and let's talk about our ghost. Our ghost, we're going to learn a whole bunch of different things that we can do with it, and then we'll start talking about our background and changing the color of our background. Okay. So we've added our music. Okay. So our ghost, we're going to just kind of play around with his effects, change his color a little bit, maybe even change his size. The big thing, of course, is we want it to go back to the original of wherever it started. Okay. So when we click the green flag, the goal is for it to have started, you know, basically kind of like this over. All right, so let's see something I could do. Anyway, so let's go ahead and let's click our ghost. Let's look at his animations. So he kind of looks, he's a bit of a ghost, I will tell you that. He has one tooth. But he does like to dance. He looks to the middle, looks to the left, looks to the right. So let's do the same thing as we did with Frankie. Let's right click on the ghost B, say duplicate, and then let's make it mirror or flip horizontally. And then he actually looks like he's dancing a little bit. Throws his hands up, kind of wants to go to the right, and then we'll make him duplicate, and this time we'll make him go to the left. So now he has more animations than anybody. So he stands there, he looks to the left, he looks to the right, throws his hands up, and kind of goes to the right and kind of goes to the left, okay? So let's go to our code, and let's do our event. Remember, we got to give it 2 seconds. And then let's put in our repeat. And we don't have to tell him specific costumes because we just want him to go to next costume, next costume. We can do looks, next costume. But we do need a break in between the different switching. So we're going to tell it ½ second as well. And we'll try 30. Well, we might want to try 25 because we want them to try to all kind of finish up at the same time. So let's go ahead and click and see what that looks like with him. He's really busting a move there, isn't he? Okay, so let's go ahead and let's try it all together. Oh, we do want it to finish off at the original, the first costume. So let's always add a repeat outside and say Ghost A. So when we hit the thing here, it'll actually start it over. You can actually put something like this at the top, but that means when you click the flag, it'll reset. I usually like putting the things at the end, like this, so when it finishes the animation, it automatically resets, so then everything looks like it's supposed to. But you could do both. This one you could actually do both for some reason. Okay, so I'm actually going to let him go through all his animations, and then he'll be back at his first animation, or first costume, I should say. All right, now let's add some extra stuff here. Let's add when the flag is clicked. And he's going to have to wait 2 seconds. Remember, we always have to add the 2 seconds at the top there, just so it matches our bat. And I think we want him to, want him to change colors. We'll talk about some other stuff we can get him to do too. Let's see. Where's my change color? Switch. Here's change sign. There it is. Change color effect. Well, I want it to repeat. So I'll put the repeat on here. And then go to looks and change color. Now there's other options on here too. Do a fisheye, whirl, pixelate, mosaic, brightness. May even make him kind of ghost in and out. I think that could be cool. Maybe we'll do color and then we'll make him ghost in and out too. But the big thing is, if you do want him to go back to normal, then there's actually an easy way to do that, is you do clear graphic effects and just add that at the end. And then when he goes through all this, he'll finish off by doing clear graphic effects. Okay, so let's see, what do we want? So we want him to change color. Okay, and if we did want him to do the, let's see, so changing color, can I make it do a random effect? I think there is a okay, it changes it by 25. There's the size change. Let's see, move forward. Does he have a sound? Yeah, it's like a boing, boing, boing. And we'll do that when we do our Halloween card in just a second. So we'll make him change color a bunch of times. I guess 30 might be good on this. We do need to give it a moment in the middle to get him to wait. 0.5 is always pretty good. And let's see. We'll make him lighter and lighter, kind of like a ghost. I think that would be neat. So let's go ahead and look and see what this looks like. And then the clear effect will actually make it reset at the end. So click here. There you go. So he'll just kind of keep changing colors. And then the clear graphic effect at the bottom actually resets it. So let's look at our looks again. And if we do make it do that, because we could actually add here, but it'll keep making him lighter and lighter, I believe. So there's fisheye, there's whirlwind, there's pixelate, mosaic. But let's try ghost, because he is a ghost. But let's see what that looks like though. Because he'll keep getting lighter and lighter until he disappears. Don't think we want that, because then we can't see him now, can we? But you can do that effect on certain things. You could make it less, like a 1% or something. Let's see what that looks like if I say by 1. Okay. Let's see how light that gets. Okay, that might work. Well, is he getting more transparent? Okay, if I say 2. Okay, I think that looks good. All right, so let's go ahead and try to put everything together. Well, let's go ahead and let's see what that looks like. Now, runs into Frankenstein a little bit, but you know, he is turning invisible, so maybe if I just move him a little bit over here, it'll be okay. Okay, so all right, so let's go ahead and let's look at our backdrop. Now, if we click our backdrop, our stage, we can actually do coding for that too. So our biggest thing that we want to do is we want to make the background. Why we chose this background is that we actually want to make it like a dance party. So if I do control, we actually want it to wait 2 seconds so that it looks like everything's kind of moving together. And then if I tell it to, what do I want? I want a repeat on here. So repeat. And then I want it to actually change to do a background effect by changing the color. Oh, I'm on color. But we do need to give it a break in between. So 0.5. Let's try this. Now if you do 0.2, that'll be 1/4 of a second. And I think I definitely have to have it do it more than 10. So let's give it 30. And let's give that a try. So now the background will change color. And let's go ahead and give that the full blown big screen. Oh, hang on. Remember I told you we always have to make sure that it goes back to normal. So let's go to looks and let's drag the thing over here that says clear graphic effect and just add it on the bottom so it'll automatically reset for us, okay? All right, ready? Here we go. Happy Halloween! It ended up pretty good. Let's see. So the biggest thing is when our music stops, we need everybody to kind of stop. So let's pay attention this time. When our music stops, who's still moving? And then we'll figure out we need to cut them down a little bit on their time. Okay, Frankenstein and the ghosts were still moving, and the background was still moving too. So everybody would need to be cut back just a little bit. Let's try 28. Frankenstein. Let's see. We'll try 28 on him as well. And I think the bat was moving a little bit. But it'll probably be too much moving it back to 9. So we may have to live with that. All right, so let's try it. I will say it looks kind of like Frankenstein was dancing, and then it made him stop, and his face was kind of like, oh. So I think that actually works out pretty well. Okay, so that's kind of our final dance party. There's a lot of other things that you could do if you were dealing with motion or anything. I think in the previous class we actually made it so the bat turned and then came down this way. But let's go ahead and let's do our Halloween card. Okay, and our Halloween card has a little bit more interactivity, so I think we will make the bat kind of fly down and stuff, and we might even make him scare Frankenstein. We'll see what we want to do. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's hit File, and let's do New. Now the big thing with this is we're actually let's get rid of our cat, Mr. Scratch. And the big thing about this is we're actually going to be dealing with the thing where we actually click the certain characters. Okay, so let's choose a backdrop. Well, let's look at our the original project here was actually doing a birthday card, and then we have our different characters and having them interact. But because we are trying to do like a Halloween card, we're actually going to change, and I think we'll choose our woods background again. Which would be pretty fun, and then we'll deal with our different characters moving around and kind of interacting with each other. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's choose our backdrop, and I think we'll do the woods again because that's a pretty spooky location. The spooky location. All right, so let's go ahead and bring in our Halloween characters. And this time, our Halloween characters will be our bat. We're going to bring Frankie in, our Mr. Frankenstein. And then let's bring in, I know it's going to be different, we're actually going to be bringing in, where is he on here? It is where is he? Will, hang on a second. Where is he on here? There's our wizard. There it is. Bring in the wizard frog. Okay. And then let's bring in the wizard. Okay. All right, so let's kind of situate everybody around here. So we want our bat kind of up here. We're actually going to do something that's going to be a little interesting. We're actually going to make a little bit of interactivity here. So we're actually going to bring in a wand, and the wand is going to, let's see, should we turn him into a frog, or should we turn the frog into the wizard? What do you guys think? Should we turn the wizard into a frog or the frog into a wizard? How about we turn our wizard into a frog? How about that? Okay, so everybody's a little big. So let's go ahead and let's click on our characters and let's change their size to 75 just so that we have enough room. All right, now we're gonna deal with our frog in a little bit here. So go ahead and click the frog, and I actually want you to hide him for right now. Click the hide button here. Okay. So we have our wizard, Mr. Wizard, and we have our Frankenstein, so Mr. Frankenstein, and the bat's going to interact. So let's go ahead and let's work on our project here. So first, let's click on our bat, and we're actually going to do a little bit of animation switching with our bat this time. And our goal is to make the bat look like he's hanging, kind of hanging up here, and then when we click him, he'll turn and fly down and scare Mr. Frankenstein, and then Mr. Frankenstein will throw his hands up and go, ah, like that, and that's really kind of our interactivity, okay? So, what we want to do is we want to look at our bat here. So we actually want to choose the one where he looks like he's asleep, okay? So let's go back to our code. And what we want to do is we actually want to make sure that, let's see, what do we want to do? If we have him go down there. Because we're actually going to be using the glide feature this time. So let's go ahead and let's make him be using the costume. Where's our thing? Where's our looks? Let's get him to switch costume to costume D. So that's what we want him on. And we also want his direction to change. So let's click direction, and we'll actually turn him so it looks like he's upside down. Okay? And he's a little bat up here with his little feet on the tree. Okay, so we'll pretend that he's hanging on the tree over here or something. Don't really have a good tree background. We'll just kind of have him up there. How about that? Okay, so we want it to be that the bat starts here, okay? So when the flag is clicked, okay, so that's actually, we're going to use the flag as our reset. When our flag is clicked, what we want to do is we actually want the bat to start there and be turned the minus 90 degrees. So we want it to be switched to that costume, and we also want it to, let's see, where's my sound set? Here's position. There it is. Point and direction. And it's actually going to be negative 90 is what we want. Okay. So anytime, even if I move the bat over here, I hit the flag, he'll actually, well, if I choose a different costume, that's the whole point. But he'll also start back there especially. Happy yet scary. There you go. Mr. Bat's just hanging out. Okay, so we're setting it up so that our bat, now how do we get our bat to always start in that position? Well, one of the things is on the screen is it actually has, and I'll show that real quick. One thing that'll show that is actually if you go to, one of the backgrounds does actually have the grid. This is the actual mathematical grid, our axes that are going on in the background with our different characters, okay? Now, you don't really have to learn this that much. Just know I'll show you that it'll automatically set up our axes for us, our x-axes and y-axes. Yes, it's math going on here. But I'm going to switch back to our woods graphic here. So the big thing is, anytime we move our character around, you look down here and our y-axes and our x-axes will change, okay? Do you see that? Depending on where we put our character. So if we want our character to always start up here, we can actually go and it'll say go to. Now the easiest thing to do is to move your character where you want it to be, and then it'll automatically switch it and it'll automatically put the X and Y in here, okay? So if I do this, now this means if I move the bat anywhere, when I hit the flag, it'll move it back to restart, okay? Which is very important. Now let's go ahead and let's set it up so that when we click on something will happen. Okay, so let's go to Control, scroll down, and it says when. Where is it on here? I'm looking in the wrong place. Hold on. It should say when sprite is clicked. There it is. It's under events. Sorry. When spacebar is clicked, that's when you do game stuff, but I won't go into that right now. But when sprite is clicked. So we need a when sprite is clicked, which is a little bit different, isn't it? All right, now so we have when sprite is clicked. What do we want the bat to do when the sprite is clicked? Well, we're actually going to make our bat do a little bit of an animation for us. So we want it to I actually want it to say Happy Halloween. So the bat's going to say Happy Halloween anytime we click him. Happy Halloween. Happy Halloween. All right, so when we click the bat, he's going to say Happy Halloween. Does he have a sound? Oh, he has an owl sound. Okay. Well, we could do that too. Okay, we'll do that. We'll have it play owl sound. Okay. So here we go. Well, there you go right there. Okay, and maybe if I'll drag that to the top, so then it'll start. I just wanted to play the sound while it's saying happy. There we go. Okay. So now, there you go. That's what I want. Okay, so now let's do it so he's actually going to move around here. And our goal is he's going to run down, okay, to Mr. Frankenstein. And when he touches him, Mr. Frankenstein's going to go, ah, and make a noise, okay? That's our goal here. Now, could you make a whole card of just clicking on the stuff and then they make a sound and stuff? Absolutely, but we're going to try to make a little bit of an interactive card here. So we actually want to use where it says glide, okay? So glide. Now, if I go ahead and I take my... Well, hang on, I may need to turn that off. Let me move that away from there. So I actually want to take this and have my little... Hang on, what do I want to do? When I click him, I then want him to turn. Let's see. And let's see how many times I got to do that. And I think I got to make him, how many times do I do it? Oh, hang on. I know what I want him to do. I want him to change his costume. So I click him. He says Happy Halloween. Change his direction and look like he's flying is what I want. So I want him to point to 90 degrees and switch to the A, but we actually want it to repeat, don't we? Because we want him to look like he's flying. So we want him to switch. Let me scroll down here because no, it's not what I want. I'm not arguing, I'm just discussing with the things like, that's not what I want. So we actually want to give it a moment in time. In the middle there, where's my control? There you go. 0.5. So we want it to switch back and forth. Switch costumes to B. So this will actually make him look like he's flying. 0.5. Okay. And while that's going on, I actually want him to glide down to Frankenstein. Okay? So we need to go to our motion. And let's see, we want him to go to, let's go ahead and make our bat change costume so I'll have it lined up properly. Oh, now he's all turned around. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so, okay, stop. There we go. So we want him to be about here. Yeah, I know. Every time I click on it, he's going to do that. Okay, so just stop. Okay, so I want him to be about here, and it's doing the calculations for me. Okay, so I'm going to go to where it says glide. Okay, so when sprite is clicked, I want it to glide to that position. So we need to set up a when sprite is clicked. Where is it on there? There it is. So when sprite is clicked, we need it to wait 2 seconds so that it'll be with it at the same time. Okay. And then I want it to glide. We'll give it 2 seconds so it looks kind of like he's gliding down there. And then we'll have our Frankenstein go, ah! How about that? Okay, so let's go ahead and here we go. So when we click our, we need to do our green, it'll reset everything, see? And if we click our bat, there you go. So it took him about 4 seconds to get down there. So let's go to Frank. And let's do our sensing. Okay. The sensing is, where is it on there? Sensing. There it is. So we'll do our sensing. And we need to do our, well, we'll do it when our, the events start. So when the flag is clicked. Okay, good. You like the sound effects? Yeah. So we do our that, and then we're going to do our control here. We'll do if. Now, I will tell you this. There's one thing that's always driven me a little crazy here. Anything to do with this, we always have to put it in the forever one, because if it's sensing, it'll only do it for a second. or you have to put it in a forever loop, so it'll constantly be doing that. Okay. So if Frankenstein, so forever it's going to be sensing. If, no, the bat. If touching the bat, then I want to do the sound. And we have the howling, so let's go to our sounds and let's re-add the screaming, which was funny. Well, we do the screaming too this time. All right, so we do our code, and we're going to drag the play sound, and then we'll also make him go through his, which animations do we want? So he's standing there. We want him to go right to the, kind of the kind of one, okay? About C and D. I think that will look pretty good. Okay. So we'll get him to play the scream sound, and then he'll go to play the C, switch costumes to the C and the D. Oh, we got to give it a second in between, or half a second in between. and the D, and then give it half a second in between. Whoop. All right, so let's go ahead and let's click the flag. All right, now when we click the bat, he should fly down here, and when he touches Frank, Frank should scream and then kind of throw his hands up. And we do actually want it to go back to the original after all that. Well, anyway, let's go ahead and try it. So I hit green, hit the bat. Now, no, as long as the bat is still on top of the Frankenstein, he'll actually keep screaming. I will tell you that. So that's one of the things that you have to kind of play around with. And you'll actually have to get it so that the bat flies back, okay? So you don't actually want him to stay on top of or touching Frankenstein's arm or whatever there, because then he'll just continually yell and yell and yell. So we'll probably add a control here and tell it, let's say 3 seconds in, then we want him to fly off kind of back to where he came from up here. Okay, hold on. Okay. That's funny. Okay. Move him. Oh, I keep clicking him so that he interacts, which is funny. Okay, so if I make him go back to the original where he started out from. So where's there we go. So we actually want him to do that. I'll do that. So we want him to go back. So glide to, where's my glide to? Oh, motion. Let's see. Glide to, and we want to go back to negative. No, I didn't mean to do that. -203 and then 134. Okay. All right, so let's see it all together. This should reset everything. Well, okay, hang on. Remember at the end for Frankie, I need to add, let's see. So I actually need to add the costume change so he'll go back to the way he looked when he first started. So when I click the flag, here, let's turn that off. So when I click the flag, I want to make sure that Frankie is actually on the first. Okay. All right. First costume. All right. So when I click the flag, it should reset everything. All right. Now, if I click the bat, there you go. So he's been dutifully scared there. And if I click the flag, it'll reset everything. Okay? So that's kind of our interaction that's going on there. Now, I know we're running close on time here, so I'll go ahead and do this the magician one pretty quickly. Okay? Now, one of the things is we actually need to have it so that we can hide something very easily, okay? But bringing it back from being hidden is tricky. So we actually, let's click our wizard frog and say look. And we actually need to have it set so that our wizard frog, when the green flag is clicked, his look is actually hidden, okay? So we actually need to go to set effect of ghost, okay? Oh, we need it set to 100, sorry. 100. So he'll actually be invisible, okay? So that's kind of the goal here, okay? And when we reset it, we click the flag, he'll actually be invisible the whole time, okay? Now, let's go ahead and let's import our magic wand. Well, where's my wand? There it is. There's wand. Okay. And there's our wand, and we'll just kind of have it up there for right now. That's fine with me. We could turn it if we wanted to, so it kind of looks like that. That's fine. And there's our magic wand. Now what we're going to do is this. Remember when we click the green flag, the frog will actually be invisible. Okay. The only negative part about that is that the frog will not be invisible until you click the green flag. That's the only big trick about this. But there's other ways that you can make the flag not be on screen and stuff like that. Anyway, so our kind of goal is that when we click the green flag, the frog disappears, and when we actually take our wand, we touch the wizard, he will actually hide, and then the frog will actually reappear. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's try that. So let's click our wand, and we actually want to set our senses here. Where is it? Let's drag over here the one that says set draggable mode. Okay, so it's kind of now, if I click full screen and I'm actually getting it to do stuff, nothing else will actually move around, but the wand will. Okay, if I hit the, oh, I need to do the green, sorry. If I do start, hit the green flag, and then the wand is movable. See, it's draggable around. Hit stop. And what we're going to do is this. We actually go here and we go into our sensing. Remember, we have to add a forever loop so it'll do it. And we're going to say if sensing, and we're going to put one on here that says if something's touching. So we switch it to, so we're on the wand, so if the wand touches the wizard, okay, then the wizard is going to hide. Okay, and we want to we want to hide. Okay, now when that happens, we want it to hide, and we also want the frog to come back. Okay, so now let's click the frog and say, let's do our control here. We're going to go to forever loop, if then, and we want it to be if the flag is clicked, and we do our sensing one and we put that there, it'll say if the wand basically touches the frog, then we need to change its look. Where's my look on here? Set the ghost effect to 0. Okay. All right. So let's all do it together. Oh, I should make it do, let's see, a sound. Okay. I think the wizard has a sound. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So then I'll have it play sound. There we go. All right, so you ready? So now our frog is disappeared. Let's go ahead and let's finish it up. So this is our big ending, I guess you'd say, and hopefully everything works out. Here comes our bat. Click our bat. And then we can actually move. We can move our magic wand around, and if we touch the wizard, it should make a sound, and then the frog should appear. Oh, hang on. Did I mess up? Let me go back here. Let's see. Oh no, I put it on the wrong thing, didn't I? Hold on. Okay, so I don't want it when it's when the wand touches. I did that backwards. Okay, so give me 1 second. Let me see. I'll go ahead and I will do. Okay, I'll do a copy here. That's funny. Alright, so when the flag is clicked, now we should work. Sorry about that. Oh. And now I actually have to bring the wand back. Okay, so move the wand back up there. Alright, let's hit go. And then when I bring the wand down, now the flag. Oh man. Okay, hold on. That's funny. Okay, when the wand, there we go. When the wand touches the wizard, he should disappear. And then when the wand touches the frog, he should reappear. Okay. So let's go back. And also another thing is you may have to tell it to reset everything again later. Okay, so drag our wand down, and there you go. There's your magic right there. Now we actually haven't set it to reset everything, now have we? So our wizard is not reappearing. So we actually need to add that and then set this looks to show. So when we hit the green flag, that's what should happen. Okay. Alright, so hit the green. There we go. So here's our last bit of our card here, and we'll finish up class. And we drag our wand down. It's magic. And then when we hit the green, it resets everything. Okay. Well, we finished up our Halloween card there. I hope you enjoyed that. It's a little bit different class than what we definitely normally have, but just a little bit of interactivity going on as well. So I'll leave you with a little bit of the resources and everything that we have. And on their website there, if you do click where it says tutorials, those are available as well. And of course, if you hit explore, you can actually explore and see all kinds of different games and different things that they have on there. Just go up there, click Scratch. Here's the Explore, and it'll show all kinds of different games that they have and lots of Halloween themed stuff as well if you just did a basic search. Okay? Here's some great resources. Here's ones about making basically like a Mario game with Scratch. It talks about the 6-axis or the X and Y axis on there. Also, some great top games that they have. And we'll be talking about that later at our class at the end of the month. Okay. So definitely come join me for that. If you want to go more into coding, there's things like Code Academy and different ones like that too. Well, thank you, thank you. I'm very glad that y'all enjoyed class. Now, of course, tomorrow, we're going to be doing a fun class in the morning, and then in the afternoon too. We'll be redoing this class in the morning, and then tomorrow afternoon we'll be doing a Pi coding class, scary spot the difference prank. So come join me for that. And also, just a little bit of a reminder, RB Digital has changed. So if you are looking for audiobooks or ebooks, or maybe even spooky ebooks or audiobooks, the steps are on their website about how to do that. The big thing is download the Libby app. Don't search for our library name. Search for Greater Clarksville Regional Library System, and then choose Georgia Download Destination. Put your library card in, and then it'll give you access. Our libraries are open with limited services and hours. We're not doing any kind of classes at the library now or any in-house programs. Everything is virtual. But curbside holds pickup is available. You can go to gchrl.org for details, or call the library with questions Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Don't forget to like us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Remember, we're trying to get 100 subscribers on our YouTube channel, and then we can get our own customized web address. Until then, you can search for YouTube for our channel for gchrl.videos, and it will pop right up. So thank you for joining me today. I'll see you guys tomorrow or next time. It looks like a wonderful day outside here in Evans, Georgia, and have a great day. And stay safe and everything, and go outside and take a walk. Thanks for coming. And see everybody next time. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.